And the first episode starts now.
The TV show is now a podcast featuring all of my favorite people. The intern program is seriously my favorite. With all your favorite interns, producers, music makers, comedians, and more.
It just goes on. Like, the world doesn't even know. I wouldn't have been able to make the growth that I have.
I was just heading in that direction anyways.
What do we play now? Oh, no play, senor, I assure you. Hard work.
Hey, where you put your time is where you put your life. And now, live from Shades of Green Multimedia in beautiful downtown Phoenix, the Whisper Room.
Episode 1.
What do we do? Man, lots of went down during episode 1, you know?
Yeah,
There was,
March Madness.
yeah, it was all a blur, to be honest. I can't believe, like, it's come and gone, the episode's out, like, so much went on. And the fact that we were able to condense everything into that one episode, though.
It wasn't
like,
even everything.
That's
it was
true.
like 3 things.
There's
of the
like
50 that
at least
happened.
like 5 more episodes that's gonna happen that we can so easily like divide. You know,
Yeah.
just so much went on. But man, like it was a whirlwind. It was fun. It was exciting. It was a lot of. Whew, stress, but good, like the good kind of stress. Where you're like, this is for something productive and great and is fun,
When you're doing something you love, you are willing to spend all this time on it.
right?
I feel like there's so many things on the first episode that didn't even make it to the first episode.
Exactly. Like, it just goes on. Like, the world doesn't even know. Like, it just goes on, and there's gonna be so much more drama and craziness that are gonna be pulling into the second and third and fourth and fifth episode. For heck, we have a whole season's worth of the Whisper Room, I feel, just in that one month.
Just in the 1 month.
Just
we
in
could
that
have done,
1
like,
month.
The whole season.
It's gonna be wild.
Gosh. Yeah.
But I mean, out of everything that, well, let's break it down and just talk about then the first episode.
How we feel about it.
How we feel about it, what we, you know, I mean, gosh, so much even went on in that.
I know that you guys all have feelings about watching yourself
Oh
on,
God. And I
on
know
camera, but Lucy, you've seen the episode, right? You've seen episode 1. What did you feel like watching yourself was like? Was that hard to watch yourself?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Tiffany hated herself.
I concur. I feel like I watched it and
You
I just
hated me too?
No. Yes.
I did.
Yes. You heard it here first. No.
Brett did. And
I-
he's completely comfortable saying that publicly.
Yeah.
But like, no, I would go back and like see myself and watch myself and I would just cringe. Like, there would be days like, why didn't I wear makeup that day? Why didn't I do my hair? Why did I wear that shirt that day? But then it would also go down into like the minor things of like my quirks, and I'd be like, why do I act like that?
Yeah.
Why am I this?
All your little mannerisms.
Why do I say
get
literally
very-
every 5 seconds?
Well, now I'm gonna be so self-conscious
But you
about
only
that.
did it on camera. That was the only
It's
time
like
you did
that's like now
how
that you
much-
said that, I'm gonna be like stuttering because now I'm gonna be like self-conscious about saying literally all the time. But like,
It's okay. I edited most of them out.
Oh, good, thank you.
Well, it's, begs the question, how much of reality do you really show with reality TV, you know?
I felt like it was pretty legit. I felt like we got.
I didn't mind looking at myself at all, man.
That's because he got a haircut right
Yeah.
before.
That's true. Maybe that's.
He was still really impressed with his own look. Like, damn, you look good.
Yeah. Oh, no, most of the videos I've ever edited were just me.
That's true.
Oh,
You have a
you
lot
know,
more
used to
experience
seeing your face.
So
yourself.
I'm used to editing
Also,
my own
you are
videos.
very egotistical about your looks, so.
Sometimes I can be.
He admitted to it though.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I had that level of confidence though. Like, I wish I could wake up in the morning and be like,
Yeah.
"Yep, that's me." Like, let's go out and do this day.
Let's be, let's be honest, Alex. You wish you had a beard.
I do. I mean, Yeah, I do.
Everybody does. Lucy does.
I think that was
That
like,
look.
truth be told, I think honestly that was my favorite part about the episode. Wasn't even any like the events that went on, but like in every scene that you saw Brett, he definitely had a different haircut, but the beard was always the same. The beard was
a different haircut
glorious and golden as always, but the hair was always different. I just found that so amusing.
You should use the word glorious to
Glorious.
describe your beard, bro.
I've been using glorious to describe it for years. So.
Oh, see, I'm not new to this.
Its name is Leonidas.
That's a name.
He's named his hair on his face.
Leonidas.
Leonidas.
Where'd that come from?
I was gonna say, where'd that name come from?
From 300, the mighty Leonidas.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I have a friend who's
Well,
in
we
it
can
though.
end the
Went to high
podcast
school
now.
with her.
Well, here
That's the cool thing about the podcast is we can go more into detail about things that happen. You know,
Yeah.
with the episode we were like, this is too long. We can't put everything in.
That's
So-
why we come back for more episodes. So
So-
stay tuned.
So Tiffany hated herself.
Oh,
Let's talk
Moral
about
of the
She
story.
does on a regular basis, though.
hey, I'm okay with my own body.
Hey,
It's
hey,
just-
Tiffany. By the way, I think you're great. So like, even if you hate yourself,
What
Girl.
was it about watching yourself that you hated, Tiffany?
There was a lot of things. There were so many things. I hated seeing myself the way that I hated seeing the way that I was portraying myself to
I
other
was gonna say
people.
the way that everyone else sees you.
It's true though, because the way that I see myself and the way that I portray myself did not match up with the way that I was actually
I feel
presenting
that.
myself.
In my brain, I have a lot cooler image of who I really am, and then like you
Yeah.
see it on camera, or like later when I watch this podcast and listen to this podcast, I'm like, man, I thought that was so cool coming out, but now like that was really
Yeah.
nerdy and.
or even just
got
like
a reality check.
yeah,
Pretty
it's
much.
like you finally see how others see you, and so then you're able to like correct things, and like
Yeah.
you're able to also the fact that I was like homeless half the time, so I didn't exactly look my best the majority of the time. Like that was not
See, but that's a good
That was
excuse.
not.
That's a good, like I didn't have that excuse. I like was perfectly living in my home with my full-time job, and I still was showing up like, hey, like I just came off the street.
And I don't think that anybody in the show or watching the show knew that you were homeless during the show, because that didn't make it
Yeah,
in. I mean,
none
it
of
was
us-
something we filmed pieces of, but we didn't have the room for it. That show would have been like
Yeah.
45 minutes long had we included everything. You know?
yeah, which I mean
Because it was ridiculous.
there's so much stuff that happened in our lives in that month, and there was so much.
It was crazy.
It was a lot of us. I feel like it was a lot of like dedication of like where we were gonna put our focus in. You know, a lot of decisions were made as to what we actually wanted to do and how dedicated we were.
Yeah, I feel like it was like a really good, like just kind of reality check in that sense, where we were like, life kept throwing all this stuff at everyone and making it difficult, but we all still somehow ended up here. We all still kept like finding the time and finding the way to make it to the studio and make sure everything got done. And
And I mean,
It just-
me more than anyone. I mean, I literally did not have a car. I literally lived in Gilbert, and I was still here every day.
She lived here for a month after she got her damn apartment.
yeah, I remember there was like time when you came back from Utah the one time without a car, and I picked you up from the Greyhound stop. And I dropped you here off at the studio, and you had a pillow and a blanket, and you
Those are
slept here.
crying sounds for those.
Like, Tiffany just had the most dedication at it. Like, she literally lived here, which is cool.
Well,
Like,
I didn't really have anywhere else to
That's
go.
true.
Let's be real. Like, what
make
else
it
was I
work
gonna
though,
do my
right?
time with? But I mean, like, I mean, there's a whole bit filmed about it, but we didn't put it in. But it was like, I could not have done any of that without you guys. Like, I wouldn't have been able to be here. I wouldn't have been able to make the growth that I have and like learn Logic and learn how to do podcasts and learn about mics and setup and everything if it hadn't been like for you giving me those rides and for Brett giving me a ride home and for Matt picking me up when he was in the area and like, you know, like I don't know how it happened, but everyone just so happened to be able to help me at the times that I needed it.
and I think it just comes like the reason it all happened that way is just because you showed how dedicated you are to be here, and like you make this like your livelihood, and you're excited to be here, and like are just productive and proactive. So we were like, yeah, like Tiffany's on board, like we're gonna be on board, we're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that she's here. So we're all like doing stuff and being happy, and like it you know, there's two
Yeah.
sides to it where it's like you were putting in the time and the effort, and so like we wanted to make sure that was still going on.
Yeah, but I'm just so grateful, honestly. Like I
was just
no
heading in
other
that
word.
direction anyway.
I was just like, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, but I still am super appreciative, you know.
Yeah. But it was
Lucy's glad she got rides to the studio too.
Lucy's really the lucky one.
Lucy, what was your day in the studio every week this past month, or the past couple months? Remember what day you were coming in?
Thursdays?
Thursdays, yeah. So every Thursday we came in and did studio work and all kinds of different stuff, right?
Mm.
You know, that while we were, during our actual first month, we jumped out on the set of the Status Pros, right?
Yeah.
And Lucy got her very first paid gig, to
Nice.
create a soundtrack for the car audio guy at Status Pros. So she was really excited about that.
That's really cool.
We
That's
haven't
awesome.
started it yet. It's something we
Cool.
She's 9 and she's already
I
done
know. I'm
more
like,
than
she's already
me.
doing
Like-
greater things than I'm doing, and I'm 20.
I know.
encourage them. Lou, tell them you guys can do the same stuff I'm doing.
Maybe.
Maybe in like 30 years.
You guys got to catch up.
One day.
One day we'll be as cool as Lucy.
Right.
So I think it's funny because I spend a lot of time sending out the link to the show,
Oh yeah.
and I get all kinds of emails and messages back afterwards with people who watch the show and like, oh, that was really great, that was awesome, and I always reply back with, this was made by my interns, and then they're really floored. They're like, wow, that's really cool. And the cool thing is not only was it a real show, we didn't script any of that. We just pre and post commented on everything that really happened, but it really was you guys that did the show. I helped, but I feel like Brett did most of the editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deleted all of Tiffany's work.
Tiffany and Alex did most of the shooting, I feel like from the
Yeah.
venues, other than
We had the
Yucca
switcher
Tap and stuff like that, where Alex was on stage, but Alex did a ton of shooting,
But we all like worked on like the plot of like how we wanted it to go, and you know.
hang on one second, we just lost our Facebook feed.
We're on Instagram
We're on
too.
Instagram, so we're fine.
Oh, sweet.
So good.
Hi, Instagram.
Hey.
Thanks for tuning in. We got my best friend Sean, hello, and Charlie Spurlock, hello.
Charlie Spurlock.
What's up, girl?
Love you.
But for those
Charlie.
Charlie, the snack queen.
snack queen, man,
She's-
why don't we have snacks? Can we like also steal that idea and like the interns?
Can we
have
like
snacks?
implement everything from
Just
every
'cause I'm-
podcast into our podcast?
Guys, we can't make the same radio show
Yeah, no.
twice, all right?
True. All right, you win, Charlie.
Charlie gets the snacks. It's the, I feel like that's the one thing that she's called in life is snacks,
Yeah.
She's got dibs on that.
Is she gonna like refill the snack box?
Double dibs on the snack. She wants me to make.
Know how her chin's going.
Well, you should
Charlie
follow the
Chin
hashtag
Watch.
Charlie Chin Watch.
Oh, there's a hashtag for it?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's created the hashtag.
Has it changed at all?
Yeah, it's
I
gone
know
down.
Because I gave her some shit about it that first day.
What's your hashtag?
You made her immediately regret her decision.
Hashtag bacon.
That's a good
Hashtag
hashtag. That's a great hashtag.
I've
Like
act-
the emoji bacon or like actually
Is there a
No,
bacon
the-
emoji?
Yeah, there is a bacon emoji. It's
Oh,
two
wow.
strips of bacon.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
out of the
oh,
time.
sizzling.
That'd be
I am
heaven
out
for
of the
me.
time.
There's sizzling bacon.
Tell me more about that sizzling bacon.
Sweet nothings of bacon.
Just the emoji.
Sweet sizzle nothings. Speaking of bacon, we're going to be doing a show at Peter Piper Pizza, and I'm definitely getting a bacon pizza.
Oh man.
Me too. Wait, are we
I've actually never
doing
been to
that?
Peter Piper Pizza. I
Yeah.
imagine it's like
Are we
Chuck E.
actually
Cheese.
doing
It was.
Oh, I was
but
going
now-
to say, it sounds like you didn't have a great childhood.
There isn't one in Utah. We have Chuck E. Cheese's.
Oh,
Oh,
it's the same
yeah.
thing.
I
as
feel
Chuck E.
like it
Cheese.
used
Chuck
to
E.
be
Cheese is garbage.
true. I feel like it used to be like Chuck E. Cheese, and they had like the purple dinosaur instead of the mouse or
Oh,
Chuck E.
okay.
Cheese, but like they look like they've gone like super modern now, like
Chuck E. Cheese or Peter Piper?
Peter Piper. Like their logo's like
Oh.
all geometric and circular. Like,
Peter
That's
Cheese.
Yeah, they definitely updated their branding and stuff
Yeah,
over
I
at
think
Which
Peter
is
they're
Piper.
trying
smart. Good job, Peter Piper Pizza.
I know, getting away from like the creepy old like mascots and stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
no, we're not above that.
One of my friends is a general manager at Peter Piper Pizza, the Metro Center one, and every year she calls me up and she has this Rockstar Day where she brings in a bunch of kids to Peter Piper and they all get free pizza and these little grab bags, and I think that last time we did it, they all had inflatable guitars, and so I always bring in usually a couple of really young acts, and they come in and they play for all the kids at Peter Piper. And like the last year, all these kids had these inflatable guitars, and they were like up rocking with us in the front, and it was really funny.
That's pretty cool.
So I think this year I invited Brianna to perform her song that's coming out, and I was thinking that maybe Alex would be a good secondary main event at the Peter Piper Pizza.
Yes. You know how much I would love to play at Peter Piper Pizza? Like, that would be the dream right there.
I think Lucy would like it too because she's a Peter Piper Pizza nut.
She literally, her face lit up as you mentioned free pizza. She was like, how dare you?
And they don't just give us free pizza. We also get tokens to play games.
Oh,
What?
man. Sold.
Oh, yeah.
Sold. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no other venue. That's it. I'm just going to perform at Peter Piper Pizza. Like, I have
no
it made there.
No other venues are paying in tickets
No.
and tokens.
Like,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like, that is the real, like, American dream right there. It's just playing arcade games every day. Like,
Brett's so done with this conversation.
I'm like, no, that's not.
Brett would know. He's our all-American.
that's true. He's lived life. True.
So, anyways,
But pizza, let me tell you.
always pizza. Charlie's always bringing it over.
So I know you just mentioned Brianna's song and her whole like studio time didn't make it into the first episode, did it?
No, it didn't.
No, it was
No.
impossible.
No, so that's something that you can look forward to. She's
Yeah,
really
we're gonna-
amazing.
She's gonna be our featured artist in episode 2.
Nice.
Cool.
She
So
deserved that feature. She's really talented.
And now that we have like the whole track, now it's
It-
like the completed track.
and as well as we haven't really featured a studio audio recording
True.
as of yet. So we're going to jump in the very beginning of the first episode with the problems that we had, you know.
No, yeah, that was
'cause
fun.
Yeah, so
That was like
episode
the first thing we did when
Yeah.
we opened.
Yeah.
Brianna's.
was Brianna. Yeah, so Brianna opening, when she came into the studio, we had a major computer crash. But it was like, 3 days after me and Alex stayed up all night the night before putting the foam into the audio.
Yeah, like it was literally like the first day we opened and like nothing was like officially put together. Like it was all in place, but we were just like, we'll just kind of wing our way, make sure it works, and nothing worked. And it was, I mean, it was a good learning experience, you know, like literally in the moment of when your client is sitting right there and you're like, hey, I know you're here and you traveled and like you want to get this done, but you want to come back again some other day.
Yeah.
Like,
Me and Tiffany just talked about that, about how
Yeah.
it's like one of the first things that you really go through when you're off by yourself
Yeah.
producing something is dealing with those kinds of technical problems.
and it's learning, you know, it happens. It's what you do.
Well,
and then you learn and you grow.
and it
you
was
grow for
and it
next
was
time.
something stupid. It was a routing issue with Logic.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
and not the Creative Cloud, but the cloud settings on the Mac. So as soon as I turned off the cloud, Logic
That's
started
right, 'cause
working amazingly.
It worked for like half of the session, and then when we would try to like actually get the last like recordings of it, that's when it stopped.
it would leave Logic open,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't save. So we
Oh,
couldn't.
yeah.
Every time I
Every
went to
time
save as, it was
close
like
it.
clink. It was like, what just happened?
That was frustrating. That was
Oh my
frustrating.
So we actually lost the first vocal tracking session with Brianna. We had to
Yeah, we
restart
had to
it the
start
next
that
week.
over. That was sad.
That's
that was,
rough. That's really
It was
rough.
like,
It's like all the podcasts that Tiffany deleted.
hey,
was
That
that
was
a thing
never
that happened?
pinned on me.
That happened
That
in
happened
season
on-
1 or in episode 1.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yikes. Well, now like it happened, so it's up in the air already. Like
We
right.
we told Tiffany to edit an episode, and she just decided to throw it in the trash.
No, I didn't.
She's like, you know what? Actually, no.
So it turns out I didn't like this half of the episode.
I mean, we strive for perfection here, so I can respect if that was truly your like ultimate
No,
motive.
that's not what happened. Matt was like, what really happened was Matt was like, here you go, Tiffany, edit this episode. And I was like, I have never touched this before. Like, this program, what is this? You know? So I'm
she
like
went
going
straight
through.
for the delete button.
I think this is the right thing.
And so I'm trying to edit and like repiece things together and da 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 da. And I'm like texting Matt and calling Brett and like, help me. Like, what do I do?
I ignored
And-
it like 4 times.
Yeah, so it's your own damn fault that it got deleted. And then I come.
Technically, we don't know what happened.
So
to
I
it.
save it, and it's all there, or at least I thought it was. And then we go to open it again later, and like the last half's missing, and they're like, "You're the last one who touched it." Da, 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 da. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like I don't even know what happened. So that's the real, honest, full story.
Probably one of
there.
those. Oh shit! I deleted it. Let me shut everything down,
pretend
lock up
nothing-
the doors, and
Oh, I know
erase
that.
my name from the sign.
Oh, I know that Control Z undoes shit, so like I would have been able to fix it had I known. I deleted it.
It happens.
It happens. Life
I
happens.
feel like we just say that, like, make it work, and it happens. Like, every time it doesn't work, it happens. Good motto. I want it on a t-shirt.
So what else happened? Photo shoots. We did photo shoots the
shoots.
first month. We had ours.
That
first.
was like our first bonding moment.
Yeah.
Was when we went and got a photo shoot for a company that we both model for. It's called Teen Hearts. Follow them on Instagram.
Yeah,
but,
they're really cool. They're
Really
awesome.
cool. So we just had a couple of their t-shirts, and both of us just kind of pulled out our closets and like showed up at the studio with baskets full
whole
of clothes,
closet.
and they were all like jackets and pants. Like it wasn't anything like any like crazy.
Yeah, it was
cool
just like
items.
accessories, you know,
Yeah.
like like
But
I
then-
could wear black jeans or I could wear white jeans.
And I think I ended literally. I think you had the pants and I had the jackets, and my like jacket choices were like camo jackets or sparkle jackets, like
or black jackets.
or black jackets, because we like are very basic. But
Yeah.
I think I ended up wearing like an outfit that I usually wear like on a regular day basis, but just like
Yeah.
change the t-shirt up.
Yeah, it was good. It was good though. I
was
mean,
casual.
Matt showed us about the ISO and a little bit how to work the DSLR, and then we went out and we were like, "What are we doing?"
We're just
But
like,
we're
"Rah."
doing it anyways. Like,
And it was kind of cool. We just ended up walking around the streets right here by the studio,
Walk in the
and
streets.
so
Street
wild.
walkers.
But we were just roaming around the streets. And the really cool thing
Roaming
about
the streets.
the really cool thing about Phoenix is that we actually have a lot of really cool like graffiti murals and stuff. So we ended up finding some like really choice like backdrops.
Choice.
Please, can you like follow me like the rest of my life, just like doing this? Like,
narrating.
but so yeah, and they were like super quirky, crazy, cool graffiti art backdrops
Yeah.
that like really matched the aesthetic of what Teen Hearts
Thank you,
represents.
Jack in the Box.
Yes, it wasn't
And
a
thank
Jack
you,
in the
graffiti
Box.
artists, whoever you may be. That was really cool, but I think those turned out really good for yours. Like that ended up matching your aesthetic a lot more,
Yeah.
and like the drive-through sign and stuff right next to like Jack in the Box
was
was
my
really cool
favorite.
for Alex. But then what worked for me was the alleyway.
Yeah.
Like that met my aesthetic more, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Considering her homelessness, the alleyway.
It was just like a perfect representation of the time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I wasn't even homeless at that point.
That's true. That was like right at the beginning. That was like the
Well,
second
that maybe
week we were
that's what
open.
is.
It was foreshadowing, you know.
homelessness.
We do foreshadowing even though we don't.
She
plan
liked the
anything.
alley a lot.
It was more her style.
Okay, but to be fair, there was like a really dramatic sunset going on, and it was really cool. And
It was.
Teen Hearts recognized her photos first, and I mean, her Instagram blew up, and she was so cool, and I was so proud of my
many
girl.
followers
And-
from that.
Yeah.
And Brett did his first ever photo shoot in the first
we did it with
episode
the
too.
green screen. That was really cool. But
Yeah,
those were
that's
in the alley too, Brett.
Not the
Yeah,
green
but I
screen.
wasn't homeless. So the joke's not on me.
So, and then this week we're gonna be learning about removal from the green screen. So, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
read that
start
article.
editing out Brett's photos and doing some interesting new things with the photos.
That'll be cool. That'll be really cool. But yeah, it was a really cool time, and
Intruder.
but we were able to like really just like taught us a lot about like the scenery and the backdrop, and like when doing the sunsets and stuff, like how to adjust the cameras and all that jazz, and all these little things that went into just the photo shoot. It was crazy. how
Yeah,
much-
and also like posing.
and
Posing
posing.
was so
Posing is
hard.
the worst.
I was so
You do like
Go ahead.
I was like you do like one pose and you think you're like, oh, so suave and so
like
cool.
that one awful picture.
And then like you look back on it and you look like literally so stupid, and you're like, all right, well,
My hair flip picture.
I
Oh
loved
my
your hair
God,
flip
that was
picture.
so bad.
Tiffany had like
Like,
bright purple hair back
Yeah,
then.
it was like bright pink, bright purple.
it was so wicked.
Oh goodness, and it had
And-
like the blonde coming through because it was like
Yeah.
washing out.
It was really cool. It was like this like beautiful like what's the word, ombre?
Ombre, yeah.
Ombre,
Yeah, where
like
it fades
purple.
color to color.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun color. That was for sure. That was definitely fun.
I think that
I
was
met
like
Matt the first day after I dyed it like bright violet. Like
Yeah,
it was like
really bright.
it was like purple, like violet neon purple when I met Matt the first time, and he was like, "Well, I guess you meet the look like, of being an artist, you know." And I was like,
that's true. That's how you can always tell. That's how you can always tell.
Creeper for sure.
But yeah, my hair was also a lot shorter
That's
than.
cool. It was cool.
Yeah, it was.
And it like matched like the whole like scheme of
Yeah,
like,
it
the
was. I
photos,
loved
too.
how the light looked with the hair though,
I
and like
kn-
with the hat that I had on.
Yeah,
And just like
it was just perfect. It was gorgeous. It was
Teen
so
Hearts
cool.
liked it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so shout out to Teen Hearts. Thank you so much for
Yes,
letting us do
that was
that.
fun. Yes.
Um,
And gosh, what else happened in the crazy month?
yeah, we had that social media class.
Oh, the social. That was actually what inspired the photo shoot. Was when we did the social media
Yeah.
class, and we had basically learned like you know. Yes, we had learned like the what's the tricks and the trades of Instagrams and more
all
than
the
that.
stuff. I mean, I missed it, so I'm gonna go to the new one, to the next one that
Were
we
you
have.
not
up.
there really?
I wasn't. I was there. I showed up right after. Remember, I showed up at like
Oh.
the end of it.
Gosh, I totally remember
and-
you being there. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
just,
because I was there at the end, and then we worked on the intro song.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah. Who was there? I guess it was
It was
just
all four of us.
Everyone
All
was
four
here
of us.
that day.
Yeah.
Dang, but man, that was so seems so long ago.
Yeah, it was. It
But,
was
like,
it's
That
crazy.
was definitely one. It was like our first class, and I think that one's the one that has like definitely resonated with me, and I've
Yeah.
used it not even just for the studio, but just for like everything.
all
'Cause
our personal stuff.
we all
too.
have, you know, we have our Whisper Room social medias, but then we also have our personal social medias that like
blew up.
blew up because of it too, because we just applied whatever they had taught us into, I guess, like
I stayed up for like 3 nights straight, just
Oh,
like
following
following
people.
following
Yeah,
people.
it's easy to get stuck there. It
It's so bad.
happens. It's happened to me before.
and like you'll
Yeah.
you'll be sitting there and you'll feel so like lousy about yourself, like you're feeling like it's so sketchy and
Yeah.
so sleazy, but you're like, but I want it, like I need it.
but I need more followers.
Exactly, it's like it's
More like
so addicting. It's terrible.
Oh goodness. But it's
But it was
crazy how
beneficial.
motivated you get after a class.
Yeah.
Like after this last blogging class we did, we were both like, "Hey, we're ready.
Yeah, and we
Let's
have
go do
we
this again."
started plans actually for this next week to actually just come into the studio and sit on our laptops and figure out blogging stuff. So
Yeah, and so
it's
after
cool.
that social media class, we were all like on fire.
Yeah,
like,
and
let's get this done.
and it's funny because it like everything that you learn in these classes are so easy. Like you don't
And
realize
it's so
how
practical
it's
too.
so-
You're like,
yeah.
this makes so much sense. Like, why was I not doing this
exactly
before?
like,
It's just a lot going on at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and that was one of the things Alex had called me and said, "Hey, I think I could really benefit from a second social media class because." You know, how many accounts are you running, Matt? And I was like, I think I'm running like 40 something
I got
accounts.
so mad because so disclaimer, I have only 2 like social. I have my Whisper Room and I have my personal music social media accounts on like Twitter and Instagram. And I was having one of those days where I was just posting everything on the wrong accounts. Like I would respond to like Whisper Room studio stuff with my personal account and vice versa. And it was just all over the place. And I was feeling so stupid and so embarrassed. I'm like, oh
so
God, like just deleting
frustrating.
all the tweets I just sent out. So I texted Matt later that night, just like furious, blowing up his phone. Like, what the heck, man? Like, how do you like have 20 billion different Twitter accounts and not get so confused? And like, I can't even handle 2. And I was having like this mental breakdown. It was. I was so stressed about
understand.
it. Like it was intense.
Matt's just crazy. Don't feel bad. Like,
and Matt was just like, "Oh well, it's,
I
you
am.
just do it." Like
I get crazy on social media, and I just off cuff respond to things. Like one time, Brett had posted something on Facebook, and somebody was on there, and they're like, "Oh, really great job, babe," and I responded to that
my mom.
comment. I responded to that comment, "Hun, when are you coming into the studio next?" You know, and he's like, "Dude, that's my mom, bro."
oh no.
It's like, I'm sorry, Brett. I didn't
happens.
think. I didn't think. I don't usually.
It happens. It's all the family members on Facebook. That's where it gets you.
yeah.
Those are the troublemakers.
You know, and me and Kara had sworn that we were not going to let Lucy have social media until, you know, she was older. But she was a part of the social media class. And so we decided that we were going to let her try to implement some of those things that she had learned. And she got
good.
her own Whisper Room
Yeah.
Lou account. So
She posts cool stuff though. Like
Yeah.
it's like her stuff is like almost inspirational, you know. It's very
Yeah,
uplifting,
Kara-
very positive. I like it.
I also noticed that Kara's Instagram is so good. Like all the stuff she was posting on her story over your trip, and
So
like
good.
just like everything that she does on Instagram, and like her captions always match it very well, and they like meet her tone
She's
and her
pretty dialed
demographic
in.
really well.
Yeah, she knows her brand and she knows
But
the
she's had it
relevancy
for a
to
long
it.
time.
Yeah,
Like, she's
and she's
been
got like
working on it a long time.
3,000 like actual organic followers. There's no
Yeah.
cheats involved in hers.
That's
LOL,
awesome.
like us.
I know.
All our fake fans. What up?
Hey, I have a real fan now. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
have a
you-
real.
Yeah,
A real stalker.
you have a real
What?
stalker like Yashi.
Comments
Somebody in
on all
another
my
country
pictures.
who, will eventually start sending you. You know, Wendy used to have a flower allowance.
Really?
Yeah, from one of the guys that followed her in another country used to send her $25 every single week so that she could have
Aw,
fresh
so she could have
flowers.
flowers.
Aw, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to paying for my bills, like, I'm not gonna.
Wait in the ghetto needs rent money.
Like today, please.
See, like, I wish I could, like, my biggest fan,
Western
hands down,
Union is very useful.
my biggest fan on my social media is, like, by far my mom. My mom likes everything, and it's like,
Your
thanks,
mom
Mom.
is so nice.
My mom was
though.
my very first 100th like on my first like official post. Like I
Oh,
did a
yeah?
cover of some
She
song.
was that late in the game.
No, but like it was like 100. It was a
She
milestone.
didn't get to that post until
Okay, so she wasn't the
after
first,
work
but
that
she like
day.
broke that 99 to 100 barrier, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
thanks. You can actually I made like a little screen cap for my mom.
I
And, like
saw that. I did see
my
that
mom's
post.
my best friend, but so
Your
you know,
parents were your best friend,
my
and there's
parents are my
nothing
best
wrong with
friends.
that. That's amazing.
I like when I'm like, oh, I have to go to the mall. Like I invite my mom first before I invite my friends. My mom's cool. Shout out
That's
to my
awesome.
mom.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. What else happened?
Whatever your parents did, Alex, they did it right. Me and Kara talk about it all the time. We're like, I want to study under
They're the
Yeah,
coolest.
yeah.
Alex's parents
They're the
because
coolest. Let me tell you. Okay, so me and Tiffany just earlier today, actually, we were having this whole like conversation about my parents, and I like got super emotional because my parents are the coolest. They're like my biggest fans. They've been to every single show that I've had, and like they're by far Grain the Gradients like biggest like fans. They're like
Supporters.
in the crowd cheering, like singing the songs. Like they make it to every show.
driving over
Driving-
sidewalks to get to
They are
the
so
show.
they are so committed that they break like traffic rules just to get to the show. Like
So I said I was gonna put it in episode 1, but I didn't because there was not enough room. But let's go ahead and tell this story now that we're on the Whisper Room.
it is on Instagram.
podcast.
You can see the video. Matt
I did.
Posted it.
I posted it to Instagram
I think I
because
retweeted it too.
you did. I was outside of the venue. We got to the venue early, as we generally do, as you know, the tech crew. Me and Tiffany were there. Tiffany was inside because she was under 21, and
baby.
The bouncer wasn't there yet.
and the bouncer wasn't there yet. So we snuck her into the venue and sat her in the corner. I was like, "Don't move. Nobody will
Hide
ask you
into the
any
shadows."
questions. If you sit behind this table in this
I'm
dark
dark
corner."
enough. I could like blend in.
She
Just
was
kidding,
blending.
Not that dark.
So she is hiding inside the venue, and I'm standing out front, and I see over in the distance this guy realized that he had pulled into the wrong parking lot because he was trying to get into the Yucatan parking lot too, but he had pulled into the wrong parking lot where they had, and I think this is stupid when they do it, when they don't connect the parking lots that are all on the same corner.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not going to drive back out. So I see him get out of his car, check out the stoop, look at everything. And I was like, is that guy going to drive over that?
Yep.
And then I was like, if he's going to do it, I'm getting my phone. Why am I even thinking about getting my phone? I'm just going to get my phone out. And I got my phone out and turn on the camera. And here he comes. He moves the trash can out of the way, gets back in his car, and just takes over the pilasters and the sidewalk and just comes right into the Yucatan parking lot. And I'm thinking to myself, that looks like Alex's dad.
It was. It definitely. So for those, my dad drives a Jeep Wrangler, like 4-door. It's like his pride and joy, his baby. He thinks that like just because he has a Jeep, like no road restrictions apply to him. He's like, if I can just drive over it, like who cares? And so I remember we were like doing sound check or like in the venue setting up, and my phone starts blowing up, and it was my mom, and she was like totally embarrassed. She's like, I think Matt was just filming your dad driving over the median. And like she was like so embarrassed. I'm like, oh God, like probably. And so she gets back in and she like tells me the whole story, and she's like, it definitely was Matt. Like, what is he gonna do with that? And I was like, oh, it's gonna be in some episode. It's gonna be on something. Like he's gonna make a deal out of it. And sure enough,
And here we are.
here we are.
Well, don't feel bad because I probably, embarrass Lucy on a regular basis. You don't think
She
so?
almost- yeah.
She's just sitting here like, Dad, you're embarrassing me already. Like,
You don't do it more than Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa does it more, but I mean, I'm pretty embarrassing.
that's just like that's what being a dad is, though. It's just like making your kid's life miserable by embarrassing them with the littlest things. That you're just like,
Embarrassing
why?
them with your love.
Exactly. Like, and,
I will love you until you can't take it anymore.
Okay.
You lost privileges of the mic now. That's cool, though. But I think that's really cool, though, that, like, Lucy is able to come into the studio and work alongside her dad. Like, that would be my dad's my best friend. Like, if I could work with my dad, like, oh, man, nothing would get done. But, like, I think that's a really cool thing that, like,
And how she's learning so much,
yeah,
too. I mean, she's probably learned as much as I have.
You're 9 years old. And you've already learned, you probably know more than I do. You're already, like, learning instruments, playing the drum. You're dabbling in beatboxing, which we heard a couple bars before this podcast started. She's crazy cool.
We wanted her to, like, do an intro for
I mean, it's still up in the air. We'll still convince her. She'll do the intro for the Whisper Room by beatboxing. But,
that'll be so cool.
like, I think that's just such a cool thing to just be a part of, so close with your dad and work alongside him and, like, learn the trade and everything. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, that's a really cool thing. And
I think it's really cool that we didn't. I mean, I knew you, Alex, before here, but I didn't know anybody else before you guys came in, and yet you guys were very big. And Brett and Tiff, all of you guys. I can actually go and give individual circumstances of memories that I had over the course of the first month of you guys making her feel like she belonged, because although it's my studio, it's your guys' studio too, and you create the ambiance that happens here, and the welcoming of people is part of that,
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Brett take an interest in, as soon as he saw what Lucy had created in a song, he like all of a sudden he like you want to see how I play drums, you know what I mean? Like, and that was like a big deal to her. She had a great time with that. And Tiffany is like the studio older sister, you know what I mean? Like,
Tiffany's the mom.
because Tiffany's here
Studio mom.
Tiffany's here a lot, and when Lucy's here on Thursdays, she always talks to her and finds out what's going on with her, and that's really cool. And then Alex is like
The cool Beatles fan.
the cool, yeah, like
The emo
Just like the
cousin
cool
that
aunt.
like
yeah,
cool aunt.
yeah, the emo cousin. That's a good one. The emo cousin who likes the same bands, and for Lucy's birthday, Alex brought her a package with. She even liked the bag that it came in.
That's why I kept it. I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest. It was like a Hard Day's Night album cover band from Liverpool, by the way.
Yeah, from Liverpool, and so it's one of her. It's in her Beatles collection now, and she got. There was so many things in there. There was Who Are the Beatles?
And there was a book.
And there was a book,
A T-shirt, which was like one of my favorite T-shirts
which
ever.
she loved.
It had the Yellow Submarine cartoon Sgt. Pepper characters on it, which
Yeah.
was really cute. It was pink too, so anything pink is great. Which I mean, I wear all black, so you wouldn't know, but pink's my favorite color. But
Yeah, because we definitely wouldn't know. We wouldn't know at all.
I mean, you wear like black and green every day.
I don't own any other colors but black and army green. I have like my signature army green beanie, and then like a camo
The
jacket,
jackets.
and then like a army green sweater and
Yeah,
an army
that's
green
the
jacket.
cardigan.
Yep. Oh yeah, the cardigan.
Got you.
It's like I have like 4
I
outfits.
know. I already know your outfit
because I wear them every day. Like I wear it every single
memorized.
day of the week. It's like one of those like cartoons where like the cartoon
Every
character will, like,
Monday you look the same.
exactly. Where they like open up their closet and like all the shirts and the pants are the same, like in like Fairly Odd Parents or something like that. Is literally my closet.
Or like Dexter's Laboratory.
Exactly.
Oh, I love Dexter's
That was a good one.
Laboratory.
That show annoyed me, but like in the best way. Oh my god, do it. Oh, I thought you were gonna commit to that
No,
like
I
impersonation.
wasn't fully committed.
You were.
I mean, I
Dang
can do the Russian. Just I don't know if I could do the Russian little kid. Didi, stay out of my laboratory.
Oh, I love it. But
So what else? Brett posted a lot of the pictures from his photo shoot. That was really cool.
I only posted like 5.
Well, all in like the same week.
He was excited. He never had pictures taken before.
No.
And they were legit.
I'm saying that he got a lot from it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he got a lot of like followers, and like you were making a lot of outreach with them, weren't you?
No, not with the photos. Those were
Oh,
with the other stuff I was doing.
the live
The
streaming.
the live streaming.
mixing and stuff like that.
I feel like episode 1 for Brett is Switcher. Like,
Yeah.
He was really into Switcher, and it was new to all of us, and we had a lot of things going on. So,
Oh goodness.
and
yeah.
without the live streaming ability, we wouldn't have had as many people in on what we were doing during that time. So,
That's true.
and we had some problems with Switcher, and the Switcher people watched episode 1.
Really?
Yeah. And they
What'd
liked it.
think?
Well, I'm part of a group, and then we should get all of us into this group, but I'm part of a group called Switcher Studio Enthusiasts, which is a Facebook group of people that are using Switcher all over the country, all over the world. And it's people posting the things that they have made with Switcher.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I went in that group and I commented and said, hey, would anybody like to see the episode that we made featuring Switcher? And there was like a bunch of people who were like, yeah, I'd love to see that. And so I posted it, and we were the first reality show to use Switcher and feature it in the show.
That's cool.
And so then I posted that, and I commented to the admin as well as the people that I had already had contact with from Switcher that worked for the company. And I was like, hey, I need to get in contact with either head of marketing or whoever's in charge. And we ended up talking to the CEO,
Oh, that's cool.
which is a really cool guy named Nick. And he scheduled a time to talk to me, called. We had a good 25-minute conversation, and then afterwards, Switcher Studio became ours for free, which is really cool. And so they're now an actual official sponsor of the Whisper Room.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
We have a
That's-
sponsor.
That's actually really cool. Thank you, Switcher app. I didn't know that. That's actually really dope.
And it's a really, really cool.
It's a great program. It's so
We love
efficient.
it.
It works so well. It's just so convenient too, and it gives us that total freedom and free range of really getting what we want for, our podcasts and whatever else we're doing in shows.
Our
I
only
know
obstacle is Wi-Fi.
As long as you can get
Wi-Fi.
the other people to do what you want them to do with the cameras.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
I'm trying to figure out a way to communicate with other people holding the cameras, because Tiffany's not great.
she's learning.
Hey, I did better than Charlie.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely better than Charlie was.
Charlie has a problem holding things, I feel like.
She just didn't want to move from that spot she was standing. The
Oh,
whole
she'd already
time.
had a drink.
She leaned on the.
Yeah, see why we don't drink before we work? You know what I mean?
Words flew by.
Oh, she can't even drink.
Yeah,
Right.
she can't drink. It's like she has a liver that's like the size of a kidney bean, and she takes a drink and she's done. I feel like she fell with the camera in her hand. No, that didn't really happen. I made that up.
Oh, Charlie?
It might happen. I feel like that's probably
It's-
a very.
I feel like if we
A
gave it to her
probability in
again
future.
and handed her another drink.
Well, when we were shooting Summer Sales, Charlie started as Boom, so we used to call her Boom Charlie, or Charlie Boom, because if it was somebody she didn't necessarily care for, she would boom them in the head while they were talking. So she would bring the boom down and just boom, and everybody kept calling her
That's
Charlie
amazing.
Boom. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
And then I had to take it away from her.
got too abusive with it.
And on the morning meeting set, when we shot morning meetings, she's holding the boom, and we were just setting up the cameras. We weren't even there yet. We weren't even ready to shoot, and she had tested the mic by holding it up, and she had both of her arms up above her head, and then she turns to me and she goes, I'm exhausted. It's like, Charlie, we haven't even said action yet.
Oh man, booms are hard.
She's already done.
They're heavy. It's just they're so I don't know. You just stand there,
Charlie's just lazy.
There's so much you
Nothing to
could
say.
say.
She's gonna listen to this, and then there's gonna be so many
She's-
comebacks about
Like
bashing
Twitter
us.
rants.
Yeah, she's
Her
been
next
right.
podcast, we better watch our backs while
Yeah.
we're there.
She's already roasting me every podcast. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Like,
let's-
every podcast,
That's true.
there's
We've had
something.
a
Whether
moment.
it's what is it like?
You're a super easy target.
I know, and
Yeah, I
here
don't
we
think
are
it's
doing the
just
same
Charlie.
thing.
It's not just Charlie. The world itself is going after
Yeah.
Hey
you.
Tiffany, I love you, even if
See,
everybody
here's the
else.
thing: is y'all learned
good that
podcasting
she
with
keeps
all of
reassuring.
those comedians.
That's true. So now
so
here we are.
now you guys are
Under the
just doing
influence.
what you know, and
We're
that's making fun of people.
being really mean to each other, cool. That's gonna be quality content.
Well,
Perfect.
I'm sure everyone will love it, though. they'll be
Tiffany
like,
needs
just
it.
roast her.
So
I do. It makes me stronger. Right?
So we learned a ton of
She's
stuff. You guys learned a ton of stuff. I learned a ton of stuff about you guys. What do you think? Number one in the first episode. What do you think you took home above everything else?
Tough question. Somebody go first, 'cause I Definitely like just I don't know. I feel like I said this in the first episode, but I think it's still very relevant, is just making it happen. Like, again, like this month was such a whirlwind of just everything. Between our first day the studio was open, we had all these technical difficulties that we couldn't do our recording session, so we just had to, you know, put that hold on it, not worry about it, not stress about it, but just figure out, hey, what's wrong? What are we doing wrong? How can we fix this? And making it happen. And then as soon as we fixed it, we got right back on the phone and scheduled the session again, you know? And it's just things like that where it's, you just keep yourself busy, keep yourself focused, keep yourself motivated, keep yourself level. Because that's the other thing, is with all these ups and downs, like the stress.
There's a lot of emotions.
Yeah, the stress becomes a lot. And you just have to find yourself and be like, okay, like, don't stress about it, because that way nothing's going to happen. Then I'm just going to sit here and mope and be sad about it, and that's not going to do anything. So you just kind of have to be like, just sit, evaluate your situation, and move forward, you know, and just figure it out. So it's something I feel like I've said time and time and will always say time again. But honestly, just making it happen and just doing it and figuring it out. Like,
There's always going to be problems. There's always
Exactly.
going to be technical difficulties.
there's nothing you can do about it. So you just make it happen.
We
Just go
figure it
forward.
out and keep going.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, like, of all the stuff that we did here the first month, social media was that. But, like, in my life and how it applied to my life, it was definitely, like, lining up my priorities. Like, my life was not where it should have been when I first came here, and I was, like, living with my boyfriend, and it was just, like, not good. And Matt and Brett kept on just roasting me about it, like, Tiffany, you're being so stupid, you know,
Real
like,
dummy.
yeah. And
And we talked about this right before the show too, you know.
Yeah.
People tend to not realize that they're not living the supports to
what they want to do,
the dream that they
yeah,
want.
what they say isn't what they're doing, and that was definitely the case for me then and now. And I had to make a lot of changes, and I was, you know, homeless because of it for a little while, and then I lost my car, and then all these things happened. But at the end of the day, my priorities were lined up. At the end of the month, I sorted it all out, and now things are
I still don't
better.
think you know what you want.
Well, I'm getting there.
Like,
I'm
again,
getting
you're
there.
you're 20 years old. Like, you're
You're-
already doing more than a lot of people
You're
your age.
making moves to line
Exactly.
up the lifestyle with the dream.
Well, yeah, and that's what, like, I mean, I was talking about earlier how, like, seeing myself on the film and, like, seeing myself, like, the way that I see myself
opens
didn't
your
match up.
eyes.
And I had, like, this whole, like, crisis in my brain about, like, what am I supposed to do? I need to change right now. Like, I need to be that person right now. And I was like, oh, wait, no. I'm just 20.
And I think that is the kind of really cool thing about this whole project and just the studio in whole, is that it's definitely not something that like us as interns have ever experienced before. So walking into this situation, and it opens your eyes and your mind a lot, where you realize, like, okay, cool, like, this is my future, this is my potential career, like, this isn't, you know, like school anymore, where you just go sit and zone out for 8 hours. Like, this is like something that you're invested in, and you what you put in, you know, comes out as well, and it's your reputation, and it changes you, you know, it makes you
Yeah.
realize who you really want to be, where you really want to be going. And I think that's, like, such a beautiful thing, because it really does, like, shape you into the person that you want to be and become, and gives you that motivation to do better and strive to be greater. And it's
Exactly,
really cool.
exactly.
Really motivating atmosphere.
And if you can see what I'm doing in my career and you like that, and you go, okay, I want to do things like that. That's what I want to do. Then it's right there in front of you. You can learn all those things. You know, it makes it possible that somebody else is right there doing it, and I think that that's a really big thing to be able to see too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It just kind of puts everything in perspective too, you know, like, nothing is truly like a pipe dream that's unachievable. You just have to work
it's
for it.
so,
You
it's
just have to
so
work. That's all it is. It's just
attainable. You just have to be consistent, and you have to be willing to put in the work into all the little things.
absolutely. And that's
Like, there's so many things.
exactly.
Is the problem.
I find it so cool. Like, it you know, growing up, I'm not gonna lie, I always dreamed of being like a rock star, like, and growing up, like, you're always told, like, oh, well, that's not attainable, like, that's such a crazy dream. But growing up, I never let that fire never died. And so you grow up, you go through everything. I thought I was going to be a veterinarian for a really long time and actually be like smart and educated, but
That's the
not saying that
that's
you
the
can't
family bloodline.
that's
you know,
true. My dad's a
like,
veterinarian. He's very intelligent.
Well, I'm not saying you can't also be smart
That's true.
now. Like,
That's true.
in a thing.
But
You
like,
can also be smart.
it's
The way
crazy
you
though.
worded that was really funny.
When you're going into this though, and when I kind of finally had that realization, like, no, this is what I want to be doing. Like, again, like you just kind of put your mindset into it and you realize like, okay, well, I just have to do this and this and this and this, and it's going to be a whole long crazy list of things that you need to do, and it's going to be crazy and it's going to be long and it's going to be hard, but like it's achievable. Like it's not like
Totally
it's
achievable.
crazy. It's just, and let this studio and what Matt does be the example that it is totally possible. Like Matt is doing it. It is his career and he's done it for 10 years now, and we're on our first year into that path.
We're
but
like 3 months in.
or 3 months, not even a year. Oh God, this is
I know.
a lot
I
shorter.
just realized that.
Well, let that be also an example of how crazy these 3 months have been.
Yeah.
because
Considering-
it seems like
especially
forever.
I don't know if you can even like see the difference in us just from the episode and how we're interviewing now, because we are totally different people than
Oh
we
yeah,
were that
I was
first
so
month.
shy in my first interview. I was
Yeah,
so scared.
you were
I was
so nervous.
Shy. I would get like so nervous behind cameras, and now I'm just like, hey, like
Here we go.
it happens, but it's cool. Like but again, let this 3 months, look how much have changed and how much we've grown and progressed.
And that's the cool part about this is like, especially the Whisper Room, we get to see ourselves grow. You know, I mean, we get to like be like, oh yeah, remember that one time when I was
Yeah.
really dumb and didn't know what I
And
was talking
and
about?
we're saying
like
that
every
3 months
day.
into this whole program.
Yeah.
We're saying 3 months. Wow, we were so stupid back then. And we're like, we're going to listen to this podcast a
A
year
whole
from
life
now.
has changed in 3 months.
Exactly. We're going to listen to this podcast a year from now and be like, oh, we were such idiots. Like, come on. Nothing even happened.
Well,
Like,
Brett was really focused on hands-on, and I feel like
Yeah, I've been producing for a long time.
Totally.
He
I
does
came
really
in
good
already
music.
knowing a whole lot about everything. So basically, I just needed to get hands-on to feel it.
yeah.
You know?
for sure. We would sit, he would come into the studio all the time and just work on songs, and me and Tiffany would sit, just listen to him. And this dude, he knows what's up when it comes to like
Dude,
mixing and like,
His music is so
I've
good.
been
So good.
producing for about 8 years. So.
it shows. It's really good. Like, listen to his stuff, guys. Do you
I
have it
know.
posted
We
anywhere?
came in here and we were all like, Brett starts like showing us all his music, and we're like,
Wow, this guy's
what
too
are
cool
these
for us.
sounds? Like, we've never even heard this kind of music before. We're here with our like punk and
Yeah.
pop punk
I
and
listened
like,
to really dirty, crappy music.
and
I had
Brett's
no idea
like,
what
"Hey,
electronic
like,
was.
Let me show you a whole nother world.
Well, I'm really big. I'm really big on my sound design. I like doing it.
It shows, and it was like well done stuff. Like, it shows that you put in that time and that effort, and it was like your passion. It's really cool. Really
And we had
inspiring.
that. We had that conversation about how your music is very emotionally driven.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that just about anybody that listens, even the first time that I checked out Brett's music from when he sent me links from our phone interview, I could definitely tell that he was focused on emotional driven.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. I've had a pretty crazy life, so I throw it all into all my music.
That's how it should be. That's
And
what
so
music should be.
Because you guys are 20, I turned to 20 in Afghanistan on a gun turret.
Yeah,
So
That's crazy.
crazy.
completely different.
that is crazy.
So admirable. I like it.
So Brett, what do you think you took home? Because I feel like I know, or I feel like if I was you, I'd know what I would say. But I want to hear what you
Well,
have to say first.
For me, I got to know the programs that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
I'm a total Ableton guy when
Totally.
it comes to producing. So Logic is a bit of a pain in the ass for me, but I got it down now.
Totally.
Just need a different keyboard and mouse,
Yeah.
it'll be all right. But that, and then what I think what I got the most out of was Premiere. I've never used Premiere before,
Yeah.
and to me, Premiere is like the video version of Ableton.
Yeah. It's
So
very
it was
similar.
Very, very simple to move everything around. I even created and produced music on Premiere. Which
I know,
was
and
a
that's
pain in the
crazy.
ass.
I can't believe you did it
It
that
was
way.
hard, and it took me a long time. And I
And
won't
every-
ever
But it
do
was
that again.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it
the thing.
was.
It still turned out amazing.
I
And
won't
that's
do that again.
and that's actually featured live in the Whisper Room episode 1. That's on YouTube. So he created some of the soundtrack right in Premiere, which I don't even think I've ever seen done before.
I know it was possible.
It was not easy.
So
It took me a
That's
long time.
You made whose tracks? You made mine. You made Ryan's.
Lucy's.
Well, that,
Oh, no,
Lucy's
Lucy
was
did
her
her
track
own.
that she made,
Yeah,
but I
Lucy-
layered it and copied it and
Yeah.
moved it around.
I know.
But then I did all the sound effects and everything through the whole Whistler. Well, I pretty much edited the whole thing.
Oh,
My
yeah.
favorite editing
Yeah.
was when you did Gray and the Gradients show with Wendy.
And the transition
The
into Ryan.
transitions were so on point. Like, I swooned a little bit watching that part. That was super
that
cool.
was awesome. Where it like goes up and it fades into Ryan,
yeah.
and you're like,
Wow.
like
That was gorgeous.
it was very.
I'm very
well
huge
done.
on my timing. Well, that's because of my music.
Well, yeah.
My music's got to be very, very timed.
And I like that. I like
correctly.
That
I like
was so cool
perfection.
when you put in the video. Like, do you remember what I'm talking about? You just like slid in the clip and it matched perfectly with the
Oh, yeah,
music. With
yeah.
like Ryan was like head bobbing with his
Bobbing.
music that he just produced, like music that hadn't been around, you know, and it just matched perfectly in line. And he was
just meant
like,
to be.
"It's so sad because this isn't where I want it." So we had to, like-
But now I can't
Where I
move
want
it.
Yeah.
But now I can't move it because his head's bobbing and it
Yeah.
just works so well.
Yeah.
So now I got to move the videos around it.
Yeah, but I was trying to say that every time I like talk to people about Lucy, like I'll be talking to my aunt or I'll be talking to someone that watched Whisper Room, you know, and I'll be like, yeah, like the 9-year-old Lucy, she made that track. Like when it's her thing, like she made that track, and they're like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, yeah, she's 9, and she's
I like
already
bragging
making
about
music.
I
Lucy
thought it
too.
was pretty cool.
I know.
Like, I like telling everybody that's seen it too. Like, yeah, Lucy, she's probably better than everyone else here at the studio. Like, that girl has done more than any of us have done in our lifetimes, and she's 9.
She
I
spends
know.
a
Like,
lot of time with
She's
me.
my coworker.
She's gonna
like,
own us one day.
oh,
like,
oh, yeah.
you know.
and I'm okay with that. Like,
Total accident.
that was so perfect.
It
though.
was
that was what,
awesome.
like,
No, it wasn't.
orientation. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I thought that was like orientation day when we were like doing all our first like look interviews and stuff. And
Oh,
Lucy,
God, it was so
she
awkward.
had like something to say where it was like, one day we're gonna work for all these people or something, and it just turned out we're gonna own all these people. And
Or she's like,
everybody died.
She was supposed to say, hey, this is my dad's studio. Someday I'm going to own this place.
That was it. Yeah.
And all these people are going to work for me.
And well, that's not how it ended up. So there's some secret ulterior motive.
She was
there.
really into the slave idea.
That's all right.
I think she got
Own it.
confused because
Own it.
I'm Hispanic. You know?
Indentured servants. We'll go there.
Oh,
Indentured servants. So, what I was going to say was I really enjoyed having kind of lighting your guys' fires on your own creative projects. And when we were okay, so this is obviously in episode 2, but we'll give a little preface, okay?
Yeah.
So we went to California in episode 2 for the live show at the Canyon Club in Agora Hills, which is one of our favorite venues, and we love
Gorgeous venue.
and not just the
Shout out
venue
to them.
itself, but I love the people there
Yeah,
too.
it was
This-
such a good
Made in
vibe.
America was so cool too.
Yes,
Made
I
in
love
America
those
was
dudes.
best.
and the
Those
bands,
dudes.
yeah. So we should put up a Made in America side.
Yes.
Yeah, we should do
Shout
one
out
of
They
the
were
sides.
awesome.
They were bad.
They
They
rocked
were
it.
They were actually really good dudes too.
I think they were the best ones. I think Dishwalla sucked.
They crushed Dishwalla.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be happy to
it was
hear
rough.
that.
Yeah. Just
I'll
well,
just go on record saying that.
No, Dishwalla won't hear it, but Made in America will. They'll love
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
So
Shout out to you guys. You guys were so cool
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
nice.
But Dishwalla, you also have to give them credit because they were still transitioning from
Yeah, that was like their
from
first show.
record to
live show.
Yeah,
live
live
show.
show in a while, and they was pretty good. They handled
Yeah.
it well.
yeah, and they recovered. You know, some stuff went wrong, and they made it work anyway.
Brett is not lying. He doesn't give a shit.
I didn't like them at all that night.
The single came off solid.
Yeah.
Let's say this. I would love to work with Dishwalla. Dishwalla, come work with me. Because, I mean, if you guys have seen some things, you never know. We could make good records together.
It would be
People
fun.
make good music.
It would be fun to
Well,
work
I mean,
with.
right before the studio opened, we had some really interesting conversations with some really big bands from the 90s, of
Yep.
course. We talked to Save Ferris
Oh,
and
yeah, that was a thing.
Monique Powell, and we talked to what are the boys from Hawaii?
hall.
What are the boys from Hawaii? What's
Across
that?
the hall.
That's their band name.
They remind me of Sublime. I can't remember what their name is right now. Pepper.
Pepper.
So we talked to Pepper, and we talked to a bunch of other bands that are, 90s bands that were, successful, and they're coming back around doing all their 90s tours because 90s is coming back.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't Safe Ferris on Warped Tour this year, I
Backstreet Boys going
think.
to be at iHeartRadio
Yeah.
Music Festival?
So, what'd you say?
I said, aren't the Backstreet Boys playing at the iHeartRadio Music Festival? this year?
Yeah, Backstreet Boys,
That's bad as hell, dude.
Paula Abdul
Oh,
is back in the
man.
game.
Bring it back.
Shit. Yeah.
New Kids on the Block.
They were just here like 2 nights ago
Yeah.
performing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Nice.
Nice.
I'd go
yeah.
and see
I
them.
think that's cool.
Bring it
Yeah.
back.
I
Bring
think
it back.
I think it's cool too. But anyway, so I really enjoyed lighting some fires of creativity with you guys. Like, I know it's ridiculous, but the Weta in the Ghetto, we put together a great
That's
idea
more
for
like
Tiffany.
Another reality show.
Yeah, it was just another. It's Tiffany's project, and she's working on it as well as her blog, and so like that's a really good project. But seeing in her head as she connected the dots and being able to put it all together, and Brett, when we were cruising to California, we had talked tons about what you want to do in music, other than just the emotional side, but the visual side, and we won't even put those things out there.
Yeah.
But lighting those fires for me that's part of the reason why the intern program is my favorite part of running Shades of Green Multimedia and having my own studio. So
It's pretty cool. It really is. Like, it's something that nobody will ever go up to you and be like, oh yeah, you want a job in the music industry or in the multimedia industry? Like, here you go, sign you up, Like, nobody will ever come to you and say that. So it's kind of cool when you do have somebody that approaches you and they're like legitimate and they're like, no, really, like, we can make this possible. You can make it happen. Like, it happens every day. It's what I've been doing with my life every day. So it's really refreshing to have somebody like that. So thank you, Matt, like, for just showing us that it is possible.
Well, hey, no problem. I couldn't have done it without you guys either. I love having a team, and I love having creative people, and you guys totally. I mean, we had tons of people apply. We had tons of interviews. There was a girl who interviewed and just showed up like so stoned she couldn't walk.
Oh no.
Oh, she was blown.
Lightweight.
Yeah, and she was asking me to call her by a different name, and it was.
Tell people we didn't meet off Craigslist.
Yeah. That's what I get for advertising it on Craigslist, right? It's like,
But I mean, some good things come from Craigslist.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
looking at you, Tiffany.
Oh, Brett too. Brett
Tiffany's
found it on
tolerable.
Craigslist.
Oh, was Brett? I didn't know. Brett was a Craigslist too.
Yeah, Brett was
oh,
I
Craigslist
find all
too.
kinds of cool shit on Craigslist.
Yeah, it's true.
Accurate. Very accurate.
And no matter
about
how
my
much
job,
no matter how much we think to ourselves, this could be a scam on Craigslist because
Right.
there's so many scams prevalent in
That-
Craigslist now.
you
That
could-
is
yeah,
definitely
I could
something.
spot them out immediately.
Yeah, I'm
now.
pretty good at spotting them too, and I can tell which emails are legitimate that respond
Yeah.
on the posts and whatnot. But
Yeah.
but it's funny because even though we know that there's so many scams on Craigslist, we don't stop looking there
That's true.
for
'Cause sometimes
opportunities.
there's so good
Because in
things.
every 15 ads, one of them's
got to
legit
be
ad.
legit. Yeah.
One of them's legit. Yeah, that was like the number one thing was like, I was like, well, I could go to this interview and it could be a scam, or I could just not go and never find out. Like
I'm sure you had to take a chance. You
yeah,
had
I
to
had to take
gamble
a
on
chance.
that.
And I was like, after we did our phone interview, I thought I was going to, like, I called you up and I thought I was going to get, like, a secretary or something. I thought I was, like, calling someone to set an appointment. And I was talking to you and I was like, yeah, like, that's what I thought based on, like, the ad. And then I was talking to you and I was like, oh, crap. I'm, like, hanging out in my room.
I was working.
Anyways.
I was on the phone with him for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We talked for a long time, Brett. I
Yeah,
remember
I was
that.
like, hold on, let me deliver this.
I think I had
awesome.
just gotten off a plane. I think
Yeah.
I was just got home from Chicago, and then like my friend Ashley, who was the one that introduced me to Matt, like gave me his number, and she was like, "You need to call him right now." And I was like jet lag, not really jet lag, but like we had a long week in Chicago, but got off I think it was like 3 p.m, and I was like so scared because I hate talking to people on the phone. Like it is like my number one fear in life, and so like going and trying to be professional while also being awkward, like is a really hard thing for me to do, especially on the phone. So like I think I was terrified to call you. I was so scared, and I was like,
It's a new genre. It's awkward professionalism.
that is, oh man, that is like me. That is the description of my life. It's just
Dude, one thing I learned about Craigslist, you go on there and you respond to an ad and you're just completely real as hell. 9 times out of 10, you get exactly what the hell you want out of that.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I've gotten some pretty cool jobs from doing that stuff.
Really though.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I now I go on Craigslist and I go to the creative gigs, which is where most of the video and audio gigs and DJ gigs and all those things are. I look for opportunities for all of you guys, and I will, like, even modeling. Even if it's like a creepy dude that I would never give your number out to, I will respond to his ad and I'll be like, "Hey, I am featured in this video," as well as several models who, they check them out. If you like any of the people in the video, call me and I'll get you a booking with one of the models or whatever. Now they don't know I'm going to be sending Brett as security with a loaded weapon with me.
That's smart.
But and so they'll watch the video and they'll respond and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love Alex and Tiffany." You know what I mean? Like it depends because I do get a
I
lot.
really liked Alex and Tiffany.
That's really
Especially Alex.
You think they'd be willing to model for me for free? No, we don't. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. So
They're like,
My
"It's
private
adults."
abode.
Lucy has done a ton of modeling too, haven't you?
Lots.
Yeah. What was the first thing that you were ever in? Do you remember? When Lucy was 3 months old.
Oh man.
3 months old, she was on the back cover of a internationally published record.
What were you guys doing when you were 3 months old?
Not 3 months old, but when I was
Probably something
4 years old,
unmentionable.
when I was 4 years old, I was on the McDonald's box for all of Mexico and
That's
like
pretty cool.
for Southern
That's awesome.
America.
I was
yeah.
never in
That's really
anything.
cool.
Yeah, I have like
sister-
pictures of it and stuff.
My older sister, when she was like 3 years old, she was in a PetSmart magazine for an easy bake oven for dog treats. She posed with a little dog, and that was it. Her life was made after. Just kidding.
I was also in a Kid to Kid ad that was in magazines.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
What kind of magazine?
Oh, a special kind.
Well, she was on the McDonald's box in Mexico, so maybe in America she was on the back of a milk carton.
No, it was just like a catalog, Had like it was like for a coupon for Kid to
One
Kid
of
or
those
something like that. It's like
And next she's gonna be on the back of a cereal box called Weta in the Ghetto cereal. Weta in the Ghetto
or
O's.
it's like a milk carton with my face like missing,
It's gonna be Ghettos. Ghetto O's.
Ghetto.
There had to be at least one bad pun in the podcast. So
At
there
least
you go.
one.
Did you just say my pun was bad?
It was
This
the
is
worst.
your show, Matt.
This is my. How dare you come on my show and insult me like that?
You think we would insult you like that on your show?
On your show? Carson. Oh boy, Carson.
Oh,
Carson just doesn't know when to put his foot in his mouth early enough on
on anything.
Carson.
on anything.
Carson.
That guy, dude.
He was watching. I don't think he is anymore. He liked the video.
What up,
That's what I thought when we were in
Carson?
California that time. I was like, bro, just shut up.
Shush.
Just shut up, dude.
That's why we love him. Debatably.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not
So-
really.
Shout out to Carson of Gray and the Gradient.
I
So
think I'm gonna pull every time I go to one of the shows. I'm just gonna pull an airplane on Carson every time. Hey, we're all counting on you.
No pressure.
Just want to let you know that we're all counting on you.
make it
Because
big,
that's
bro.
what he needs.
You're the one that makes or breaks it out there.
I believe it.
Brett's gonna put a
Put
ton
him
of
in
pressure on him
reality.
last second.
Make him like realize what he needs to get done.
Just to mess with him.
Just to
Just to make sure he has the most pressure possible right before performing.
No stress though.
Because he will. He'll freak out in his
Oh,
head.
man.
He won't.
I know.
He'll try not to
He'll
show
try not
it.
to show it.
He couldn't even
but his
handle the
mouth will get all
shaker.
pursed.
You
He
know,
couldn't
when
even
we had
handle the little
this little
maracas
shaker we
thing.
had when we lost our drummer.
Yeah.
But so let's just make his life.
Oh yeah, that's that's episode 2.
That's episode 2.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about that.
But
Little
yeah,
teaser.
but yeah, there's a little taste of what comes in episode 2,
Bum bum bum. The drama gets real.
which I feel like we should be getting on to. But we're going to take a break. Lou, you want to take us out to a break? Do you know how to do that? When you're on a radio show, you're gonna be like, And we'll be back. You think you can do that?
With that tone?
Yeah.
just beatbox our way out.
Just
Yeah,
beatbox.
beatbox our way out.
You gotta copy my tone.
When in doubt,
Hit
beatbox
my
it
low
out.
register.
I love you, girl.
We're ready to close out the first half.
Go ahead, Lou. Close us out. We'll be back after messages from our sponsors.
She's trying to mimic him.
I said the face.
Be back after messages from my sponsor.
Nailed it.
She did it good.
Nailed it.
She's the kind of girl who tries too hard to act like she doesn't try so hard. It may be depraved, but I think the things you crave show you who you truly are. As I sneak up to her back porch door to see if her daddy ain't home, lock quietly clicks and the movement of her hips tells me that we are truly alone.